time to kick some arse. Or probably very likely get my arse kicked from here to Kingdom Come. But it's always nice to start with a Dutch opening against Olga. Or do I... I don't know. Yeah, let's go with the Dutch. And as you may be aware, I've been spending a lot of time perfecting this little Stonewall variation, which I promise you the DVD on this is coming out soon. Not DVD, digital download. But I'm doing quite a lot of work on it, so it's taken a bit longer than I had thought. And I had this position in the 4NCL quite recently, a Saturday or so ago, against a 2350 strong player. And when the knight goes here, I don't think it's the best idea to play c6. This is when you have to swap plans, I feel. This idea of h5 and h4 is not strong because I'll explain it all in the DVD. It's a bloody blitz game. There's no point in me going into details now, is there? And this is a good move. My opponent playing good chess. And I can't remember what I'm supposed to do after this one. My opponent playing computer perfect so far. So yeah, I remember looking at this, but I couldn't remember what to do. Was it this move? It might have been this one. And I remember analysing this during my game at the 4NCL, but the computer gives this as a pretty good variation. Okay, so we'll have a little bit of fun today. It's my normal title Tuesday. I'm going to try to keep videos going to this. Please do like the video and subscribe if you haven't seen it before. I'm trying to slowly, like a bloody creepy crawly, get up to 100,000 subscribers, because all I want is that nice little thing from YouTube. It's like a nice little plaque you can put on the wall, but I'm a long way off that. Hey ho. And let's concentrate on this game for now anyway. So I do remember, again, looking at this position before and analysing this during my game, but I haven't actually analysed my 4NCL game with a computer yet. But this was what I was going to play without heavy analysis during that game. And the point is, I try to pick up a pawn and gain a tempo on the knight. And hopefully I get a chance to control my centre, and hopefully I'm just a safe pawn up. And if that's the case, the opening yet again has worked like a frigging dream. So there we go. We're trying to gain a tempo on this one, because otherwise pawn takes pawn would be annoying. And then we're going to just try to defend our pawns like this. And look at this. All of our pawns, except for this little geezer, are on light squares. So it's quite a weird position. My light square bishop ain't great, but maybe I'll try to maneuver it around the creepy crawly method. And later, I'll probably try to punt f4 to start an attack, but I'm hoping my opponent can't break through. One move I might have to be worried about is if I go there, is there takes, attacking my queen, attacking my bishop. So that's a little bit annoying. So my opponent now lining up here. So let's just play a move so I avoid, or try to avoid tactics there, and also stopping my bishop from moving. So even though I'm material up, it's not so easy. Maybe I should be playing c5 and d4. That looks like a very good plan. Try to use that extra pawn, and my bishop can slip in behind. And maybe I should have played that last move, but I didn't see it. And my opponent has now stopped that. So let's just play this. I'm gonna try to use my h-pawn to create some chances over there. If my opponent plays queen here, c5, but queen a3 could be a little bit annoying, because if I play c5, now the rook comes back and d5 is weak. So do I take or do I not take here? I like my pawn being on this square, but it is quite blocked up. If I take, I don't know. It's maybe I have to play b6 soon as well. Just realised, and bishop b7. Should I do that now? Maybe I do that now. I don't know if I should have opened it up. I'm just trying to get this piece out. If I can get this piece out, my opponent now opens it up. I'm a little bit worried about some sacrifice, but it shouldn't work. And my opponent playing good moves, you know. Very good moves. So now I'm going to move my bishop to f7 to try and defend that knight like that. and I want to use this extra pawn. This is now, surely I use it now. I'm going to defend because I've just got to work out if rook takes d5 is something I need to worry about. Okay, so I'm going to control that one first. And now I've got to play c5. Or do I? Do I just move my king first? Okay, I'm going to move my king first. And my opponent comes in. And I'm sort of waiting on this move because it's all going to open up when I play that. And now I could have played knight there last move. And here, I think I've got to play it, haven't I? Okay, let's go for it. So now it's going to get exciting. We're opening up the position. I do have that extra pawn. But my opponent's pieces are very well placed. So let's take the open file. Maybe I should just be ramming my extra pawn. I don't want my opponent's queen to come in. So I'm going to cover those squares. And let's now ram it. That is my extra pawn. So let's use that extra pawn as much as we can. And again, let's push it one more square. My bishop is purely defensive at the moment. My opponent gets rid of my very good knight. But now I have this big threat. In we come. The knight and the queen comes in though. That is quite dangerous. Bishop takes here. This check. Shit, I missed that one. I'm going to change my mind because that looks too scary. I don't want to allow my opponent chances. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, fuck a duck. Did I just miss queen takes queen? That's what a... what a start. I played so well. I just totally overlooked the fact I could have won my opponent's queen for free. Fucking hell. Oh, more coffee needed. An outrageous blunder there. After playing, I think, quite a good game. Everything was under control, and I didn't even think that the queen was on pre. And of course, queen takes queen would have just... Oh, my words! Whoa! I think I might need something stronger than a coffee after that plab load of bollocks. What the flipping hell happened there? That's a pity because I played pretty well, I think. I mean, it's pretty smooth up to that point. And... oh my god, what a nightmare. Okay, so my play wasn't as good as I thought, and I missed a big... well, I know I missed a big win there. And it was around about here where apparently I started to lose control. Should have taken it, shouldn't I? Should have definitely taken it. And then I should have just gone rook g8 and just tried to mate. Yeah, it's far too passive here. Let's have a look at that opening because it was kind of interesting, and obviously this is the opening I'm trying to master at the moment. I mean I was pretty happy the way it was going personally. Like I say, I've looked at this position before and I think bishop f4 is a good move. This computer not as strong as the one I was using to do my research for the course on though, so I'm not going to trust it 100%. And now I'll have to look at this line, but this looks good. Now c5 is not recommended by the computer yet, but maybe I should play it here because my opponent does have a... yeah, c5 would have been the right move now. But then this I think is much better than what I'm getting credit for here because I am just a pawn up and there's no way my opponent can open up the position. So it's really modest here. If there was some breaks and stuff, this would not be such a small advantage, but as there's no breaks, this is ridiculous. But then look at what I did at the end. Bloody hell, that is unbelievable what I did. So I think I'm still doing all right. The computer thinks I'm not doing so well here, which is again strange, but this looks, I mean, I'm pretty confident here. Yeah, I could play this move. Tonight's good. It's not as clear, I thought, after taking here, but this seemed okay, and this seemed all right. Now I use my extra pawn, and okay, I missed some chances to put the knight there, but this looked really, I mean, I was very happy with this position, right? Because I've just got an extra pawn. It's 2 squares from queening. So again, very surprised it's not a bigger advantage. But this is where I just went mental. And I had a big time advantage as well. I played in here, which I'm not... You know, it should just win, right, really. Because of the queen. If you take here, then I can come up here, attack your knight. So this should just win. And I totally missed the fact that all I was looking at was bishop takes rook. And it just shows you when you get transfixed on a plan, you kind of forget about shit. You forget about the obvious moves. And I don't think I've ever missed a blunder as easily as that for a long time. So quite phenomenal. So we're going to need to sort our shit out after that. Wow. Let's get this coffee in. I know I was a little bit tired, but I didn't think I was that bloody tired. And we're playing another lady from Russia. I guess this is the Russian flag. And I'm going to try that same opening again with colours reversed, because I do really like this opening. And you can play it with colours reversed. Why not? Now I'm going to again move my knight to this square and do a similar thing. And one thing I've realised is you want this bishop to move off this diagonal. These little tidbits, which again I'll go into my course, before you play h4. Because now if my opponent plays h5, g4 is a lot stronger. My opponent's lost control of the square. So I found quite a lot of things about this variation, which I'll share with you in detail on the course. Now, this move, I think I'd probably just take with a bishop. Not 100%. After that last game, my brain is a little bit fried. And I'm just going to continue pushing. And this is the whole point of variation. Maybe with my queen coming over here at a later stage. So I'm just playing for mate. I'm just trying to get the queen over here and checkmate. But we need to develop in the meantime and deal with our opponent's ideas. If my opponent takes here, I'll take the f pawn so I keep the queens on the board. Take him to d pawn's probably alright, but I don't want to exchange queens because I want to checkmate on the h file. Simple shit. Now, queen here is okay, but knight takes here is also singing out to be played. And queen here, knight takes here. Castles. I kind of like castling queenside here. It looks very aggressive. But knight there, queen there check looked a bit unclear. And I'm just going to keep... I'm a bit angry after that last game. So I'm just going to throw all my pieces towards my opponent's king. And castling is a bit risky because my opponent gets some attack. But this is the way the opening is, right? It's exciting stuff. And of course I want to take and transfer. And if I castles, then knight takes here becomes more of an option because this is not check. And knight takes here, my knight can sort of come to g5. So expect my opponent is okay. Now what have I missed here? What move have I missed? Because otherwise I'm doing very well. And my opponent's played this clever idea. But I don't think it is very clever because my opponent had to lose a key defender. And the point is if I take the queen, the knight comes back. But if I just play my queen to this square, then knight f5 comes. So interesting concept, but surely my opponent's king is weak here. And I don't really want to exchange off the queens. So taking here and coming in here is fine, but I want to play for checkmate. So I'm going to keep the queens on. Again, it's a little bit risky because my queen doesn't have a good square. So, interesting idea. I guess queen here is the most logical. But again, I'm not impressed the way I'm playing today. And I really want to keep the dark square bishop, but this is a great piece, right? It's a great piece. So what am I doing today? I'm playing like a bad, mad chess player. Okay, so I should have kept it simple somewhere. And give me more of the coffee. I'm going to have to get something stronger after this if this doesn't go my way. Oh, needed that coffee. Need it. You know, some days you just, well, I don't know if you get it. I have real problems with sleep. I always have done. You know, don't ask me why. I've always been like a 5 hour, 6 hour sleeper, but sometimes it's a couple of hours and I need to, my brain just goes a bit too wonky at times, you know, so maybe I need to sedative it somehow. Exercise is probably the best way to sedative it. But I actually love the way I got a whole roll of excuses, which I can wheel out if needed. And I really need to play g4 here, but it's just not working with this rook here, and my pieces are not particularly well positioned. So I'm going to play a little bit quicker now, just so I can try to get in a bit more of a groove. And the way I'm thinking about doing this, move this rook and play g4. Maybe g4 is even playable, but I'm missing very simple moves at the moment. g4 next move, my opponent takes the rook. So I probably need to move the rook. And let's do it this way. I'm not so worried about this because surely it's all about the attack and I have some open lines. I don't know if I go here and keep on the h-file or if I go here and go for this one. I think... Did we go h-file? I don't know. Let's go h-file. And I'm pawn down now. But I'm hoping there'd be some threats brewing. And I'm also time down, so I'm going to have to really sort this out now. And I want this one, I think, next move, because if I take here, the queen comes over, my opponent defends. So I've got to stop this move. And maybe my opponent's played this very cleverly with this idea. My opponent has. She's playing very well. Now I need to give my king an escape square. I'm playing very badly. And I'm struggling somewhat in this game. And here, queen takes. Still got a bit of an attack there, so we have to take this one. We have to now complicate. We're not going to checkmate on the king side, which is a little bit upsetting. So trying to reroute the pieces as best I can. My opponent also rerouting. And where does this knight want to go? So I've got to try to bring it in to d6. A very short time here. And I would have thought that move is good. But my opponent has a fair few pawns, but I have a big passed c pawn. So I'm hoping my c pawn is going to get there first, but I don't know. Could be wrong. Been wrong many times in this game already, so I need to push. It's a race scenario. And how is this c pawn? It's not looking good, is it? Fucking hell, Williams. Unbelievable. And I think we're going to have to draw this one. My opponent played very well. So a slow start for me. And one of the slowest I've had for a while. And again, let's have a look at this, because we want to see how we can improve. And again, I'm very happy in my position around here. I've got everything I want. This was a good move, and the computer just suggests I get on with it, which makes a lot more sense, because when I start to take this knight off, I open things up. So I've got to remember that in future. Don't bother opening up lines. The whole point is to checkmate, so just get on with it. And this would have kept the advantage for me, so let's remember that in future. And after this, yeah, this as soon as I played this, I wasn't entirely sure whether it was a clever idea, and my opponent played pretty well now. I'm not sure about this one. And here, it feels like I should have a very good move. And this idea of bringing the queen over, it never worked, did it? And my opponent very calmly played knight takes pawn, which was very brave of her. And if I was going to do that, I should take here first, because then when I get my queen to h4, if knight f5 happens, I have queen h7 checkmate. So of course I should flick in pawn takes pawn here, definitely, because the way it happened, Imagine these pawns are not on the board. After this move, if the pawns are not on the board, I could play Queen H4 and be winning. But if I play Queen H4 now, Knight F5, so my opponent's played some clever moves. I'm going to have to start winning some games soon, boys and girls, but we are warming up. We need a bit of warm-up today. And like I mentioned, the safest idea would have been to take this one and at some point come in with an advantage. But I want to play for checkmate, but this is too optimistic because my opponent's knight is very strong. And I, of course, want to play F5 and get rid of this knight, G4 that is, not F5. But then my opponent gets rid of the bishop. So my bishop's on a bad square. If my bishop was anywhere else, G4 here would be very strong because my opponent can't gain a tempo. But my opponent is just in time. So I try to move my bishop out of the way. But now a very good move from Irina. And that's the thing. Even these lower rated players, they're bloody good. And you can't go easy against them. They can play great at the right time. And now I'm struggling. I don't know why my opponent swapped that knight off. That knight was a good piece. And I'm still worse. And I was pretty much worse, I think, for a long time. But here, what did I miss? So I can take this one. And then I can play Queen E3. And if Rook G4, I've got Rook here, I guess. Some clever idea. So I missed a chance here. And I played this first. And this was bad. And now my opponent could have won straight away. So not a very good game. I was just trying to get my king safe here. But we both made lots of mistakes. I think I made more mistakes, to be fair. And even in the ending, I should really be winning. And I'm missing everything. I could just take... Why can I not... Okay, because I'm short of time. I go blind. Go blind! I'm literally suffering from blindness in the game. I moved my knight to attack the bishop when I could have taken it anyway. God, blimey. But even this ending, I feel like I should really be winning here. And I could have just gone knight takes queen, couldn't I? So, terrible chess so far. It can only get better, and it will. We've got the crap out of the way. The coffee is kicking in. And we're now going to go on a murder streak. Like Dexter on speed. That's what we're going to be. I've never watched Dexter, but I hear he's a nice serial killer. Which sounds like an oxymoron. Is there such a thing as a nice serial killer? Is there? Well, maybe a serial killer who kills paedophiles? That could be a nice serial killer. Wasn't there? I think there were some brothers in America who did something like that, weren't they? A lot of people were applauding that guy who shot the healthcare boss in the head. Which well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that's really the answer, is it? Generally, to solve your problems by shooting people in the head. I mean, it seems a little bit controversial, doesn't it? To go about it. I'd love to get a knight here and put it in his pipe. Okay, let's try. Let's just try and put a knight into there. Now, that is one sexy move. But he's got knight here. This was the issue. Then I wanted to play bishop here. Then I think he has to play F3. Is there something good there? Yeah, I mean the healthcare in. So here takes. Okay, we're gonna go for it. So if he goes bishop here, then this check is good. The healthcare in America, I feel for you guys in America a bit because, you know, the fact that you can get turned down, it must be horrible. In England, it's free. I mean, the NHS, we call it, maybe not the most amazing in the but it's pretty bloody good. The NHS, we call it, the National Health Service. So we get free care. I mean, I hate the idea that you can pay for your health, and that must be horrible for you guys over there if you can't afford your insurance gets it down. So I can understand the frustration of that. And he has been applauded as a hero. I don't know, but like going around shooting people in the head. I mean, guns terrify me. It seems like a bit of a wimpish way out. I mean, whenever we had trouble in, you know, I like the old days. You have like you see the fights in the cowboy bars. They're much more gentleman-like, and then everyone goes away at the end and has a drink. I mean, London, I suppose we have a problem with knives. Great, another nice thing, but never used to be that way. Okay, now I've probably played another bad move because of knight here. And he's fucking played it as well. And, oh God, I'm really not playing well. And I realise moving this bishop away is a major issue. So, wow, look how badly this is going. Okay, so, come on. My position was good, but I've allowed him to... And now b4. b4 takes is just the problem for me. I can take there, but I'm going to be the exchange down. So b4, I'm just trying to get out of trouble now. Do I have to play something like knight d3 check? And after takes, you can still go queen here. So b4, he hasn't played it, which I'm very happy about. That move, don't know if there's any problems to it, but it feels like I should be able to get out of this somehow. But again, I've put my piece in stupid squares, talking about your bloody health service. Castles, his idea is takes. I guess I can play something like b3 there, but it's not very inspiring. But I have to do something like that, so I'm gonna go for this. And after b6 at the end of this combination. But yeah, I played some slack moves there, didn't I? Just moving my bishop back here or something like that. Lost the initiative. Still, I think is just about okay for me. But my opponent could have played b4 last move, and that would have been a killer. So we're just trying to win a game, get a bit of confidence back. I have to take that one. And after here, I think b6 looks forced. And again, I could be missing something, missing a lot, but this is surely not too bad. I'm only a pawn down, but he's not castled. So this one I don't want to allow. So how do we stop this? Now I really want to push in the center, but then he will grab that one. I can go d6, but it doesn't seem to get me very far. Queen here, the knight comes in, quite possibly. Don't think that helps. I can go rook c6, and maybe that is a better option. So let's try this one. I mean, you can also move back this way, but I'm moving my queen, defending a pawn. Might be as good as any move. And I'm not too worried at the moment about this extra pawn, but I probably will be when he queens it. And that stops any breaks I have with this guy. So it's very hard to break through here. So I'm just going to have to try and improve things because I can't open up his position. So let's get the pieces to as good square as I can see. The thing is, if he moves his... Oh, he can take this pawn now. See, this is the kind of crap that I'm doing at the moment. And... Now, what do we do here? Okay, I'm just going to move this, have this one. Just want to win a game now. Get a little bit of confidence back, and then we can try to play a bit better as we go on. But not playing well. It will change. This is an important game. Don't win this one. It's crying all the way. Okay, now I have some holes. Does that help? Well, let's try it. Let's go in. And... that surely looks good somehow for me now, but I'm not sure how. Okay, let's keep it simple because again I'm getting short of time. There might be a back check. If he takes that one, I can actually check rather than taking the rook. And his king now is proving to be a little bit weak. Now I could do some flash move, like queen b2 might have worked there, but he's going to always castle, so I'm just getting ready for him to castle, and now he can't. So what about this? Does this work? Let's play this move. This is a real confuser in time trouble, because now he can't castle. Okay, so one nice tactic in that game, and obviously if he takes here, I'm going to back spank him. Whoosh! We won a game! Oh my words! Whoa! Time to roll, baby, roll! And... yeah, again, I think I got a good opening, and as always in chess, you play one bad move and it you know, especially against Topalov, and it can go wrong. And I think my opponent started to go wrong when he opened up his king with g4, because king safety is very important. He should have just castled. If he just castled, then it would have been a totally different ball game. His king would have been safe, and he would have maybe made me cry, turn to the booze, get the cigarettes out, take away all the bad things, be in a mood. Do you guys get in a mood when you lose a game of chess? I try not to let it affect me too much now, as you can tell. But bloody hell, it's funny how chess is. I've sort of had girlfriends in the past, and they go like, you lose a game of chess, and they go, "Well, what's up? It's only a game." I'm like, yes, so stabbing you in the dark. You just lost a game of chess, and it's not a game. Chess is everything sometimes. I mean, I take my chess very seriously. I used to take everything very seriously, but I chilled out a lot, realising how fickle life is at times, and you just got to roll with the punches. So let's have a look at this. So, okay, so this looked quite attractive. And around about here, this move had probably some major issues. And everything's looking pretty nice, right? This can't be bad. And now I start to play like a wally. And if I was more on the ball, I think I played this next move. But why not head around to this hole? You've got to look for holes. Holes are goals. And you've got to try to slot into the holes. And knights slot very well into holes. So this would have been a very tricky move for my opponent to cope with the idea of just coming in like this. And I don't really want to block this up. I played bishop here with the idea of taking here, but it really, after the next move, I played horrendous. And I saw that if the knight moves, I can take here, and my bishop's defending my rook. But I just lapsed concentration for one moment, and I moved my bishop away from here. So I needed to come back, which would be a little bit sad, but I've got to defend the rook. And as soon as I come here, after this one, it's like, fuck. And now I was in a bit of a state of shock. I should probably castle straight away, but I played this horrendous move because now, and after, if my opponent had played b4, I don't know what I'd have done. I was kind of bluffing at this point and hoping he wouldn't. Not a very good way to play chess. So, okay, so we started a bit dodgy, but we're still on 50%. We are going to try to get a roll of wins rather than a roll of losses. Losses seem like they might come a bit more naturally to me at this moment in time. And this game was even trickier around here, wasn't it? My opponent played pretty well. And I think he still played well. But now, why didn't he play bishop b5 there? That would have really, just not move pawns on where his king is. Okay, so important game. For win this, we're 2.5 out of 4, and we're on a roll, baby, roll. You gotta roll, baby, roll. Wow, 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 all night long. I'm a little bit gutted because I'm moving house like next week or so, and it's a lot of hassle. But I brought tickets to see the Brian Jonestown Massacre, who are one of my favourite bands, very underrated band, very good band. And because I'm moving house on that day, I think I'm going to have to miss them. Fuck. So I can't even go and see some rock and roll, baby. So I'm a little bit gutted about that. I'm going to play this move because I want to stop him playing what he wants to do. And the idea of this weird line in the Trompowsky, which is quite risky, is to throw Harry. And I'm trying to throw Harry in most games now. So let's throw him up the board and see if we can cause some issues. He should have a very strong formation of defence here. But I might be able to... So tempting, isn't it? So tempting yet so shite, I think is the correct terminology. I mean, his bishop is very strong. I mean, I could go kamikaze, but let's develop this one first, because then now I have this move, and I know he's coming down here. What is going on after takes? Okay, I think I'm going to have to castle, but then how am I dealing with that? I'm going to move my queen. But then my knight drops. Okay, so let's think about this. Takes here. Takes. This knight's a real fucker-ducker. Takes here. He takes my rook. I don't have any check with mate. So what I want to do is takes, check, queen here. But it's just not working. And if queen... So nothing's working here, is it? No, nothing's working, Simon. So... Bishop here. Okay. Might have to, because his queen was quite annoying. And I think I'm going to have to castle. I'm kind of thinking that my king is very exposed to this bishop. I don't want a castle, because it opens up... Well, it stops this maneuver, which I was hoping would give me a little bit of attack. But I don't really see any other option. And I'm kind of happy to see that one, am I? But then he's going to go c4 and I have the same problem. Takes here. Okay, let's play it super safe for now. I've got to play a little bit quicker, and I'm kind of happy he's played a5 because oh, that pawn was just on pre. Thank you. I'll defend that one now. And yeah, my position is still not great. I haven't got my attack in. What attack? Exactly. And I want to get this knight is very strong. Okay, let's shut that down. And his bishop is quite nice, but it should be roughly even. So how am I doing things here? Well, do I want to get rid of this knight? That knight looks pretty good, but I think what I'm going to try to do is get the bishop here, and then he's doing all the right moves as well. He's getting lined up. He's going to get rid of my good piece, and his bishop is good there. Let's not beat around the bush. Now I do want to do something there, but he stopped all that, and my queen is also a little bit frustrated. So yeah, I'm just trying to work out what my plan is here. And now he's getting ready to plonk there. So what am I doing? I'm guessing e4, but I'm slightly worse here. He's played the opening. He's played the opening well. Okay, now he's getting ready to do something on this square. So we should probably, again, we're going defensive mode. Defend that one. Maybe I should even try and take this knight off, right? Which he shouldn't allow me to do. So he's exchanging queens, and that has some positives and negatives for him. I kind of like keeping this guy here, by the way, because this is one break I'm a little bit scared of, but I can take it. So I'm just, again, trying to kick that knight away, I think. So he's doing the same to me. Maybe I'll come this... Okay, so now he's gone back, so I can do this. I weakened the pawn, but we're trying to at least do something here. And maneuvering from my opponent. So let's do something. And... Now, when I take the bishop, he will go a4, I would imagine. It will open up another avenue of attack. Just a little bit worse here. A little bit worse. My bishop is horrendous. So, I need to cover my second rank. But look at this horrible piece. My bishop is so bad. Such a bad piece. And he can take my knight, but maybe he wants everything. He wants this square for his knight. So he's not doing that. So I'm going to... Oh no, I've blundered. Surprise, surprise. I have... Well, I didn't actually blunder because I had knight there, which I didn't see, but we've got to concentrate. Now he's come over here. Oh shit, what am I doing? I'm playing like an absolute wally today. I saw this knight was on pre, but not in time. Well, we've really fallen apart in these first 4 games. So we've gone into a minus score. And things are always a little bit tough there, but I should never fall apart at the end. And he's just threatening to take here. I probably have to play knight f2, but it's a really uncomfortable position. And let's go all the way back and see if I can do things better. Now this move, it should be okay, I feel. And here it seems to get a little bit critical, but I don't know, it's uncomfortable for me already. This whole plan I'm not liking in the Trompowsky, because I'm never realistically doing anything here, and it's very hard to open up this bishop. So if these things are not working, the position I got was just not nice. I mean, as soon as he plays c5, you can see the computer's assessment. I'm over 1.5 pawns worse, and I think that just sums up my position. I don't have a dark squared bishop. His dark squared bishop ruled me for the rest of the game. So I was in serious trouble after this one. And that therefore means that I think this move of pushing his pawn is just a very bad move, because I just free up his piece. So I do not like this move at all. I think this is just a really bad move. I wanted to do it to stop him playing d5, but I think it's a little bit too creative. And if I'm going to play this way again, then this obviously makes a lot more sense. Because if he goes d5, I can play like this. And it may not be a brilliant position for me, but it's very playable. And I can put the bishop here. I'm not worried about him now taking this pawn. If we go with the computer's top choice, I can even give this pawn. I mean, it might sound a little, I'm going to be worse here, but I don't mind. Here, for example, he takes here, and we can just play here. We're suddenly getting a great deal of development, and surely some chances to attack. Maybe some double sacrifice here, and the queen can come over later on. So this is a much better way to play. So actually, it all goes very bad after this move, and I think after this, you know, again, I'm not giving myself really a fighting chance at the moment. So we've given a massive handicap for the start here. Like I say, sometimes it's mental, isn't it? How sometimes I can play well, and other times I can play like such a dickhead. And excuse my French, but there's no nice way of saying it. And this position is just, it was horrible to play, because I don't really have a plan. And he can just, as he did, get ready to break at the right moment. I probably shouldn't have allowed that break, but what else could I have done? So I've got to really keep the bishop here and defend. I try to play too actively. And this was premature. I should most likely move the knight here and just try to cover things, and then it's equal. But I'm trying to do a little bit too much here. I've got to keep the bishop here. I've got to stop his rook coming in. So a number of mistakes, actually quite obvious to see afterwards, but not at the time. So first 4 games down. Talking about guns, luckily we don't have any in England, because I'll be doing a Kurt Cobain now, most likely. Even though I look calm, I ain't. And I'm going to just breathe in, have a little break, and we're going to see if we can do better. And it's not about how you fall, it's about how you get up, as I well know, and I'm sure everyone who's had a life well knows about recovering. So let's see if we can recover, and I'm going to try to keep my cool and play better than those first 4 games. The good news is, and you've always got to look on the bright side, it cannot get much worse, can it, boys and girls? No, amazing. A couple of weeks ago, I was crushing Fallujah, doing this, and today I'm playing like I got, I don't know, a pair of smelly pants over my eyes. It's horrendous. What's going on? It's gonna get better. Can't get any worse. Okay, let's see if we can have a little wash the poo away. Let's wash that poo away and freshen up for the next 4 rounds. So, as you know by now, it's 11 rounds. The first 4 rounds is like the first third of the tournament. Next 4 rounds, next middle bit. So we're in that bit now. So if I can get 4 out of 4 here, then I'll be happy, you know, because then we're starting to focus again. While my opponent wakes up, and this is the only way I'm going to win at the moment, if I literally sleep at the board. What else has been going on in the world? Okay, we're playing this against this bullshit again. Let's try to get in the vibe. Well, I've been watching this like little bit of a ruck between FIDE and this freestyle chess 960 malarkey. And I have to say, I saw more mature rucks in the school ground when I was like 11 years old. It's a bit immature, isn't it? Like, they're both moaning about, like, I don't know, ridiculous stuff. They're showing personal messages, and I'm like, this is just getting nonsense, isn't it? And it all seems very nonsense-like. I mean, my view of 960 is great game, a lot of fun to play, but actually not very good for spectators, because at least when you're watching this shit with a capital S, you maybe can follow the openings, even though I wouldn't be following this opening because I don't know what's happening here. Do you? What is this? Well, he wants to go here. What do we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? Now, do I wake and we come, or do I just castle? Let's play this. It's a bit trippy. So yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a very good spectator sport, is it? 960, because in the middle game and ending, it's the same as a normal game of chess. But then I don't want to get my queen trapped here. That's just what I do at the moment. At other parts of the game. Now, this might, by the way, look like I'm losing time, but I'm quite happy he's closed it down, because I like these pawn structures where my centre is now not under pressure and I can like attack his king side. This is my thinking. I'm happy to lose tempo to close it down. So that's 960, great fun to play, but I think to follow a lot harder for people to follow, just because you can't follow established theory, opening, and to learn. So that makes it, I think, worse spectator sport. That is what I'm thinking about 960. Quite sensible things, but this whole spat with Fide and Magnus, it just seems a bit weird to me. This billionaire guy, I mean, who the hell is he? I mean, what's going on with him? I mean, he seemed, I don't know. I mean, he's doing a great thing putting money into chess, but I mean, I think showing personal messages to in public things is something you should never really do, because they can be taken out of context. You're breaking trust. So I saw that the billionaire was posting some of his messages he had. I don't like that at all. It's all a bit weird. It's a flipped up world, and yeah, I'm not sure I agree with what's happening. Okay, right, now let's try to attack this geezer and just start hitting some bits and bobs. Now, is it time to mix it up over here? I don't think so. This is not coming up anywhere. I can't really pressurize that anymore. So maybe get a piece out for now. Where's he going to put his king? This is what I'm waiting for. When he goes here, I start moving these pawns viciously. I think he wants to go here and here now. Let's just step away. I want to keep that, because then if he does go here, I might be able to stop him from doing that. Okay, he's moved his king and develop the last piece, and I think I need to try and work through these guys here, these pawns, right? So d4 is something that at some stage I really want to arrange. So if I can take here, like takes, knight takes, and he's trying to trap my bishop, which of course I saw, but I'm just not quite in time. There. So I'm going to have to play something I don't really want to do. Okay, so now my bishop does become a worse piece. So again, another game where I haven't really taken control from the start at all. And this position is risky because my opponent is the one attacking me on the king side. Something like queen over here, and I've got to go in defensive mode. So a little bit tricky defense again. Now, can I keep things closed with this move? I've got to, because I can't let him come in on that area of the board. And I might be holding this now, but not that impressive. And now this idea I had a long time ago comes in, but it was very slow, wasn't it? Never really hit the marks. So what do we do next? Do we just come back? We've got this G pawn, which I feel could be a winner. My king's near his H pawn. He's coming around there. So do I flip it like this or start putting some pieces into his guts now. Let's start putting some pieces into his guts. And not sure which one's better. Pawn takes, knight takes, and he wants to play this move clearly. So let's cover that square with our knight. And his bishop is horrendous here. Really, really bad. And now, I don't know. Again, I feel like this is the right way to play at some moment. But these two pawns are clearly going to win the day. So I am going to maneuver my bishop to this square. Very nice square for my bishop because it supports this pawn coming up. But it's the reason this is so easily winning for me is this bishop is just so bad here. He can't move this bishop into the game because he's got his pawns on dark squares. He can't come away from that. So now I'm actually going to win the bishop on the next move. Moves his king back, and we move his king forwards because I managed to put this piece on a nice square. So again, not very smooth. I'm sure he was better there, and my plan from the opening, maybe it did lose too much time. I felt better when I played g5. This was the turning point, I think. So around this point here, not happy. He gave me this tempo of allowing my bishop to move. Had he played queen h2 straight away, I don't like it because he's the one who's going to get the attack. Clearly, even though he's a pawn down, it doesn't matter. And if I play g5 now, I'm a tempo down on the game. So something like bishop here, and it starts to look a bit scary with the h-pawn coming. This is the important tempo that he gets on my bishop. So very risky position. But as soon as I play g5, this is an important move. I keep these files closed. And if you can close up the area of the board where your king is and say, no, you will not pass, mofo. Get out of there. Go away. You ain't coming in my house. Go away. You're not invited. You're not invited. Like a vampire. The only way he's going to get in is if you invite him in. And we're not inviting him in here. Then around about here, I think I'm doing okay, at least. And he played a little bit too passively. He should probably throw the queen in, get some play like that for a very messy position. But in essence, I'm okay here. Yes, chess world. There's all that crap going on. But very excitedly, my next tournament, and some of you guys, you should really try to play this tournament. If you're still here watching the stream, congratulations, because it hasn't been pleasant today. You are the real fans. You can take that like back. You can unsubscribe. You wouldn't be the first, and you won't be the last. But I'm playing this tournament in Iceland, which I think I showed you before. And here, oh, you can't even see the lineup. Let's see. Here, oh no, you can't even see it now. That's great working out, isn't it, Simon? But it's going to be a very nice. There's a very nice tournament in Iceland that's going on next month. You can email the organizer. If you're free next month. It's only over 3-4 days in Iceland, and it's by this lake. There's a magical lake, but the way I've set up the broadcast is quite hard to show you. And I think there's northern lights, there's lovely walks, and it's going to be pretty magical, I feel. And a little bit of chess thrown in. So then the month after, I'm playing the Reykjavik Open. So there's quite a lot of chess bits and bobs going. So I need to put in a little bit more work before then. Right, so round 6 coming up. I'm going to pause it now and we'll get ready for the next one. Hopefully we can get a bit of momentum, and not momentum like sliding down into the pits of hell, but momentum as in flying up into the clouds momentum. We don't want to slip and slide into poo, into the sewage works. We've done that already today. We've got to claw and wash the poo off and reach for the clouds. It sounds like a step song. Terrifying. Right, we're back in trying to get a little bit of mojo rising, and we're playing Marina, and we haven't had a good score against the Russian ladies today. So let's see if we can improve, and we're gonna go for a black line, because I saw some of you. I asked what should I play in next title Tuesday, and somebody said the Petrov. What else did you say? The Perk, the E5. Yeah, and I mean this is the first game I've had with e4. So we're gonna try the black line because a couple of you asked for that as well, and it is one of my favourite openings, the black line, because you get it's I don't think completely sound, and the black line is where you start punting these boys up the board, and it works particularly well when there's a pawn on h3 because you have this hook. Now it's quite important to be careful of some sacrificial ideas of taking here. So this is why you've got to leave your knight on d7 for a while. And even this position I expect is a little bit unsound, but again, very interesting. And it's quite nice and easy for black to play. I'm just going to throw my pieces over here, decide where my king goes, and play for mate. So it's interesting position already. And my opponent's going to try to come in here by looks of things. So how do we deal with that? Now, okay, let's try to concentrate a little bit more here. I don't know if I could have taken that pawn earlier. It looked a bit risky. And it's certainly risky now. So if I go here, we open things up. And I don't know if I really want to do that, but fuck it, let's do it. Let's get some chaos going. And my opponent says, no, we're not going to open things up. I'd rather keep the position closed. Now this knight is due to be coming in. Now I could try grabbing this pawn here. It's a very complex position. I could even try here and take him with the pawn. That's a weird idea. Let's try this one. I'm not sure about this. f5 is a big hole and I've got to take with a pawn, so I give myself some horrible pawns, but I keep control of the f5 square. And the other idea is put my king on f7 and connect the rooks like this, but it does seem a little bit irregular, this way of playing. Now, is there anything I need to worry about? This one could well still be coming in. So let's do a bit of rearranging of pieces. I'm nibbling that pawn and I'm trying to do something on c5 now. So do I move the bishop to this square? Don't want to give away this one. If I move the knight, this comes here. Do I even do some weird move like this? But then this just seems too weird, doesn't it? I don't believe this for a moment, but some reason my mouse has reached towards it. I'm getting out of the pin, so I'm trying to get rid of this knight, but it feels really weird. If my opponent had this knight in the game, I'd be very worried. So knight f1, bringing it into the game, is quite a clever idea, and she's playing well. Now, I can also attempt to play well. I don't want to move this guy, but I might have to after g3, and I expect g3 is the move to play. I'm not going to move it. I refuse to move it. We're going to sacrifice it, attempt to sacrifice it, and how, if she doesn't want that piece, which she probably should do, I mean, takes, I'm just going to try to get some initiative on the king side going. She also has this check, so sensible move instead. And my knight seems a little bit offside over there, yeah? So what next? Do we get away from those checks? Keeping my piece hanging there and try to play in the centre. And that's the thing. I'm not actually doing a great deal on the king side now. So my opponent does step out the way. And I need to get my queen over here if I'm going to have any chance of a successful attack. But I can't see I'm going to do that. Here, okay, takes. We're going to have to give this pawn, I think. So let's do that. And I'm going to offer this piece. I'm offering a lot just to try and get some counterplay. I really want to get this over. But rook takes, queen takes, rook d1, queen f6. The rook comes to d7, and I can't allow that. And I can't allow this kind of stuff to happen as well. So my idea is rook takes, and try to get my rook into d3. And I'm still leaving this piece hanging, which my opponent now captures. And I'm sure she's doing well, but this seemed like a decent, practical way to play. To just try and create some chances. Because now, okay, there is a check here. my king comes over here. And one idea is bring the knight in check and bring the queen to this square. So this, which way? This one? I'm hoping might cause some problems. This check. So my opponent also has an idea. So we'll go check here. And this one looks like it's losing to me because I continue with my plan. She had to go to g2 when I had at least a draw, but probably no more than a draw. And this one, well, I managed to trick my opponent there. A little bit of a dodgy sacrifice, but it's a dodgy opening, and you've got to roll the dice when you're playing the black line. And I left a lot of things dangling for there, like a lot of candy. A bit of candy over there. Do you want to take that candy? There might be a shotgun ready to blow your head off if you grab it with your grubby little hands, but take my candy, you know? Or there's a little bit of candy over there. Do you want that little bit? And she took the candy. She shouldn't have taken the candy. She probably should have taken the candy, but she just played a bad move at the end. And if we have a look, I'm sure I'm completely lost here. And even after this check, I assume this one would be a draw, but maybe it's not. Maybe I. So this was the critical move. This she had to play this one, and my first thought is e5. Was this a draw? I don't think this is a draw actually. I thought this might be a draw because I come back as a fours, but she can come here, and of course now if my queen comes in, she can go here because I'm not controlling the square, and due to the big threat of queen g7 checkmate, I'm losing. So the other option was to take here, but now I get rid of my incredibly good knight, and after queen takes c6, she defends everything, and this should be winning for her. It's a little bit complex because the knight is very bad, but it should be winning. I guess I go here and I try to use these pawns. Bit unclear, but it's not great. And let's go back to the opening. Now, we'll put it on the computer, the opening, because I've had this kind of thing many times before. And you just kind of pump. In the black line, you just kind of throw your pieces towards the king and you cross your fingers. And that's exactly what we did here. We got the knight to this square. This is a typical maneuver. And this is, I think, quite a nice idea, because now I have to always consider this. h5 is all right. g4 look all right, and now bishop e6. I'm playing all the right moves. Wow. And this move stops the knight coming in, so all okay. And now she finds, I think, quite a good move, and I find the right move again. Knight d7. I don't. So I should play knight d7 first, because then if the queen comes here, I can get in. So this is an important tempo. And I also nibble that one. So this is now... Oh, shit, what happened there? Let's go back. This is now looking a bit suspect. And I really don't trust this move, but I don't know. And the problem I had in this position is, yeah, I'm sure my opponent can take this and be all right. But if she doesn't take it, what am I doing? Her bishop is a great defender. This check is nothing. The king just moves. And everything is very well defended. So I'm getting a little bit desperate for counterplay. In my position, I think she did the right thing and not grabbing that knight. And even though when she started grabbing the piece, she's clearly doing well. If I was white here, I would, if I could, I'd probably try to play around that knight somehow. Just keep things a bit more under control. But maybe taking it was correct. And she just lost her way in the complications at this moment. And a better way to play, according to the computer, is taking here and taking here. But it's messy. This is the point. It's very messy in this position. And that's what you want from a black line. That's what you want in the blitz game. But I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm lucky to survive that, because you know, you create the mess. You create your destiny, don't you? And you've got to avoid them. But we're on a roll. Let's just forget about it. We're on 2 out of 2, boys and girls. I don't know. Do girls watch chess videos? I saw some statistic from probably someone like Levy who said, or Ajamata, who said 99% of their viewers were male, which is a little bit sad. It'd be lovely to have more females watching, you know, and rather than men, have some ladies out there like watching the chess, get them in the game. There's no reason why not. I mean, I think the men would like it more as well, wouldn't we? If there was more females playing, everyone would like it more. But It would just be good to have that. But I don't know. If you are, let yourself be known. And are we on a plus score now? We might be on a plus score. We're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised after my horrendous. We're over halfway. After my horrendous start, that I end up winning every rest game. I get to the highest score I've ever got, and through some pure miracle of playing terrible chess. So we're playing Grandmaster. Let's. What should we do? Let's go d4, but let's not play any Trompowsky crap this time. Or do we play the Trompowsky? No, we've done the Trompowsky already. So d4 I like the best because I do quite enjoy a lot of positions that you tend to get when they play d5. Now this one is one of the ones I've looked at the least, and this move's always bloody annoying, I have to admit. Now, is there anything clever I can try here? I don't think so. So we play this, and this is, I think, quite a new way of going about things. And I'm just going to play it very safe, breaking the pin, so I can try to hold my centre together. Now there was another way of playing where you can grab the B pawn, but I don't truly trust that, and I like my centre. Now if I go here, my opponent's going to take and take, winning a pawn, so we don't want that. Now do I grab the bishop pair? I'd love to play this move, but it just doesn't work, I think. Takes, takes, takes. And E5 is clearly what my opponent's trying to do. So I'm gonna try and just unbalance it a little bit by going for the bishop pair. So we'll just try to take that bishop. I kind of prefer knights, but that bishop's pissing me off because it's the one break my opponent has is E5, and the diagonal could be a bit annoying. So we just try to take them off. My opponent avoids that. Fair play. And now we're going to bring, or try to bring, our last piece into the game. So can or should he play E5? So the bishop on B2 looks quite good because it points towards the centre. And again, you've got to be very aware. The most important thing in chess, I think, is to be aware of your opponent's ideas. And E5 is the only dynamic option I can see my opponent trying. So if I stop my opponent's one dynamic idea, then I'm going to be controlling this position because I've already got an advantage positionally having more pawns in the centre of the board. So I'm going to try to put my bishop here and control that idea. Yeah, easier said than done, right? So let's continue with that plan. Bishop defends my knight. And eventually I want to use these pawns, move them up the board, but we're not really in a rush to do that at this moment in time. Now if I take that one, we have a change of pawn structure, which I don't necessarily like because it's very hard to move this pawn and my bishop's blocked in. I want this bishop to become a beast. Something I prefer to do is maybe bring my knight around to the king side. So I unleash the bishop a little bit. My opponent doesn't allow that, but I'm still keeping this break under wraps. Now, is it time to play this? No, because the knight drops and more drops. But I don't, again, need to worry because E5, my opponent goes to play E5 again, but how do we deal with this? Here, we allow an exchange and then E5 at the end. Now, I could also just move this one back and open up the rook. That looks like a good move to play because now my opponent really has to think, is E5 a good move? He doesn't like it. We'll just see what he does with the bishop. Is he going to take? Is he going to retreat? If he retreats, the bishop, I'm hoping, becomes a little bit more passive. Maybe my queen can even slip here. But then I have to watch out for this one. Now, is E5 covered? It is. So I'm just going to go here because that knight jump was annoying. And E5 I can capture. Can't. And I'm also trying to go B4. And I want to get my queen off the D file and get my rook onto the D file. So these are all the things I'm thinking of. But B4 has got to be a useful move. Not easy to kick the rook away. So my opponent reroutes the knight. And we should play a little bit quicker now. Let's make sure C5 can never occur by controlling that square and advancing slowly but surely. And I still like this square for my queen, so my other rook can swing somewhere a little bit more juicy. So let's put that there. And I don't want to move these pawns because if we move E pawn, the knight comes here. So we're going to try to play around it, and I'm stopping most of my opponent's breaks, I feel, b6, I take here, but you don't want to play b6 anyway. Loosens a lot of things, and now maybe b6 is an idea. So we're just going to step here. Again, not in any rush. b6, my rook can come all the way back. And do we want to swap these bishops off, or do we want to keep them on? Now, I'm going to have to play this move at some point in order to make progress. So I'm going to move this. I think this is a better square for my bishop, and I want to maybe threaten e4, because we've got to play e4, but we don't want to rush it again, because there's no need to rush it. Now, my opponent can play e5 here. But first of all, he kicks my rook away. Now, he can't play e5, so now my knight can improve. So I'm just trying to, before I do anything with my pawns, improve my minor pieces as much as I can. And by that, my bishop comes here, and my knight gets a better square, and then we do the stuff we want to do. And this is generally a good strategy in chess, that you leave your minor pieces for as long as possible. And maybe there's a threat of knight takes here until the opportunity arises. And that's literally what I'm doing here. Now that knight, I'm just going to move back. So I'm not actually really doing much at the moment, except making things a little bit time difficult for my opponent, keeping him thinking. And it's going to be time to surely play this one soon. Now I want to stop e5. So this move's stopping e5. I'm trying to, again, keep him out, but his knight does find a good square now. Now, do we come back in? Let's potentially consider that one. And I think my bishop's got to be now better off the back rank. We don't need it on the back rank. Now, this is a better square for the bishop. It points towards the center. And let's bring the knight back to this square here. Now, we have a time advantage. I'm going to move my king away from some nasty things, and I'm going to move my no, let's try and prepare a break. So my opponent's getting ready for that break. Okay, now I'm going to increase the pressure a little bit, because I've been flapping about here for quite some time. I don't want him exchanging my knight, and he wants to exchange my knight. We're going to find another square for my knight then. Let's go here. And this is some kind of break like that I want to play. But again, no need to rush. Let's get them lined up as much as I can. Very patient play. I want h4 before I play this move. And now I want my rook here, maybe. I want my king off the dart squares. Oh, that's an annoying move. That is an annoying move. The queen could come in, maybe. And now I'm just going to lose on time. Okay, now we break. Which one? This one or that one? Yeah, I didn't make a lot of progress there. Has to be said. Opponent's knight, very good. Fuck, what am I doing? And now I'm worse. Because that knight. Any way at all to win this? Fuck! Fuck! Absolute tragic chess, this. Oh, yeah. Why am I playing so seemed like, again, things are going right. I had the focus there until a certain point, but then it all went very wrong. If we go back here, big advantage, but I just did the wrong break. And I left myself a little bit short to think, and this one was not good because I allowed f5. Of course, f5, as the computer gives, would have crushed it, and then my master plan would have worked better because I allowed my opponent to block things up. And as soon as my opponent blocks things up, I've gone from +3 to -1. So this was the move that I missed, and of course, therefore, should have played f5. That would have stopped my opponent from doing it. And after the queen moves, then we go g5, and it's then absolute chaos. So yeah, this point of loss means we're not going to get a good score, but we keep fighting. And one more game until the last third. And fucking hell, I better start trying to checkmate now. That was far too subtle. I can't do subtle. We're going to kill now. Violence, checkmate, gambits, they're all coming up. Right, time to gambit. And the best opening to gambit with is definitely e4. And we've tried the Mora out. I've really got to read Mark Esmond's book on the Mora. And my opponent goes for a sideline. And I wish I knew what to do against this sideline. I always think this is probably quite a good way of playing. So we'll take here. Probably an alright move. And let's keep the queens on. So we haven't actually got a very exciting position at all here. We tried to get the Mora gambit, but at least we've kept a lot of pieces on the board. And I think when the knight comes here, we'll move the queen again aggressively as we can. So pieces on the board could be quite interesting. This could end up getting fun. I mean, g6, my bishop comes in. I'm a little bit quicker to castle, but my opponent's got 2 knights developed. So how do we arrange our pieces? Where does this bishop want to go? I'll move it over here. I don't like exchanging this bishop because it's a great attacker on that diagonal, but I do have this way around and I can castle. This knight can move, but then my queen will move. And I'm more thinking about not exchanging here, but bringing it to c2 when it's kicked. Now these guys, where do they want to go? Maybe bishop g5. I think that works a lot better when my opponent has castle, because then if h6, I might be able to sacrifice. My opponent goes into something completely different here. Now, I might need to play this a little bit more positionally. And by that, I mean I might have to now concentrate on swapping here, because all these attacks, these crazy ideas I had, my opponent's not castling, my piece is not in the right place. So I think I will have to exchange off on c6 and play it a little bit more positionally. So let's develop. And my pawn structure is better now because these are weak in the ending. So this is why I've got to change the way I play. You just got to play the best moves, Bobby Fischer said. Play for the weaknesses. And we can try to get the knight in something like this and attack that one. Exchange of queens would help me because of my opponent's weakened pawns. But this knight is now nicely placed. And we'll try to play it a little bit slower. So queen here. Where does my bishop belong? I'm tempted to put it here, but the one idea my opponent's got is knight here. Is there anything I can do to stop that? Now pawn here, he will sneak in this way. Then maybe I come to e5. But I don't know if I need to do that. This is the one annoying move. Bishop here, h6. I don't think the sacrifice is working. So it's just where do I put this piece, really? And I might even play b3. So when my opponent moves the knight, my queen doesn't have to keep defending this one. Because I'm thinking now, let's rearrange the queen. Maybe something like here. Giving myself potential to bishop come over. Or even h3. Because it's just a little bit annoying on this diagonal. So knight here. My queen can now step away. My opponent's probably going to come here with a bishop though. So let's plonk it here. And I'm going to have to play a defensive move when my opponent puts the bishop on this square. So I just have to play this for now. Bishop d2. Maybe if a rook comes over, then I can move the bishop again. Let's over defend things. It's just this bishop which is annoying me. So actually something sensible, like trying to exchange it off with bishop g5 makes sense. This is the piece that's getting in the way. I could also throw Harry up the board. My opponent, on the other hand, is trying to get rid of my good knight, which I don't want to do. A little bit risky. My pieces could be hanging. Should be alright. Can come back around. I didn't want something coming into this square. And also I can now play c4. Like I say, ideally in this kind of structure you just want to get into an ending and you want to make sure you don't lose complete control of the one open file, and then later on start attacking these isolated pawns, because these pawns can't defend them each other. But it's such a long way. You read these bloody chess books, I've got loads of them, especially the old chess books, and they just say they give you a good position from the opening or something, and they stop any commentary and they just say it's a matter of technique, and you're like, what does that mean? And I've had to learn the hard way myself what a matter of technique means, meaning I don't even know myself. And the matter of technique is bloody hard in chess. You know, it's looking a bit like, you know, nearly this nearly tickles the balls, but it doesn't quite tickle the balls, does it? Very close to tickling the balls. Is there anything else going on? Okay, let's push the Harry. Let's see if we can do a bit more tickling. He doesn't want to be tickled. Okay, we'll go here because if f6 I can go knight takes, and we're gonna just try to attack now. I can't remain calm. Okay, he stopped all of the tickling of the balls. So can we tickle this way? Is that any tickling going on? Or can we take... I should have taken there before and gone knight in. Should I? I don't know. Maybe that was crap as well. Probably everything's crap the way I'm playing. And still don't feel I'm really attacking him here at all. Even though I've got 3 pieces and a pawn, he's not under this. Okay, I've got to now start playing a bit more positional. Get rid of his good rook. That rook was a bit too good, and we're going to have to start trying to get back into the ending plan. I thought I got a little bit excited there with some attacking ideas, but we did want this ending. We do have this ending. If I go there, he goes queen here, and I've got a knight and a pawn on pre, but I can go hopefully queen h4, but my pieces are a little bit funny, aren't they, actually? Not sure this is the right way of doing it. And he's moving pretty quick. Let's support that knight, because otherwise, knowing me, I'm just going to lose it. And he's not really playing with much of a purpose. Now, I'd love to get the queens off, would I? Let's try this ending. No, he doesn't want it. Can't go there. Oh, fuck. F5. Okay, let's get another piece off. Really bad play by me today. Has to be said. It's not impressive. I know I want... Okay, well, the ending now. I've got the ending. This is a good ending, eventually. And now it's just a matter of technique. We attack his weak pawns. We use our king to its maximum ability. And we start taking his weak pawns. And it really is quite easy now, I say. And we don't need to rush into taking the juicy ones. They will come. Okay, but yeah, there was a moment there. I think I threw it away right at the end, and it's as soon as I start seeing that clock ticking. As soon as he swap queens, it's bad. But he shouldn't swap queens. He can now try to come in. One of these 2 squares was worrying me. Maybe queen d8 is best because I've put my queen on the stupid square. You need to centralize queens. Don't put them on the side. And this would have. His activity makes up for weak pawn. So you go on about weakened pawns in chess, and at the end of the day, they're pretty irrelevant compared to piece activity. Piece activity is so much more important. Pawns are totally not going to matter if your pieces are coming firing. It's like, well, if you've got like, you know, a sword versus a like AK-47. The AK-47, you've got to get rid. You know, if the AK-47 stops working, then you can get your sword out and do some damage. But the AK-47 is going to be pretty damn dangerous coming at you, and you've got to deal with that first. And here, the AK-47 is shooting some bullets right down Derek the D file. Okay, 3 games to go. We're going to discount this Title Tuesday, but we can still get a 7.5. Ooh, I might have to play the late Title Tuesday if I can stay awake, because this is just abysmal. Is there going to be a glimmer of hope? 3 out of 3. This is going to be the only glimmer of hope to save this one. But at least you get the good, the bad, and the ugly when you watch this channel. Very ugly at times. Right. 3 to go. 3 to go. And it looks like we're going to get a Dutch. We could still get 7.5, which would totally be unjustified considering my skill levels this week. But we're very happy to get our normal formation-y Dutchy position. And my opponent is now going to go into a reversed French structure. This is very similar to another game we had where they try to play like this, isn't it? Let's stop anything coming to b5. And our general plans, bishop d6, castle, and then attack like f4 or knight here, this kind of stuff. So quite a risky move from white. This is a good French defense move, trying to open it up, but looks quite risky. Now my first thought is, does knight here work? Here, check, just king here. Pawn takes pawn. I'm so bloody tempted. Sorry, I've got to calculate that. King here, castles, queen here. I'm gonna fucking play it anyway. Come on! Cowboy time! You gotta roll, cowboy. Roll. Let's just go, boys. In we go. This is every Title Tuesday, no matter what happens in the tournament, we've got to try to create one piece of art. Just one. I want to be the chess artiste. Not piss artiste. Chess artiste. So in order to create some art, we have to get the energy lines, ley lines of the chessboard flowing through the veins, coming straight out into with some mild calculation to back it up. And my opponent should just take the down. Oh, look at that! You're a. Oh, God, he doesn't even want to take it. What a pussy. Okay. Well, that was very wimpish from my opponent, but he's obviously terrified. Now, I could go here, takes, check, king here, bishop takes there, but I'm not sure about that. Don't like it. Check, g3, takes, knight takes. Looks a hell of a lot more fun. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's do it. So we're going in. And after here, we're... Oh, my words. He's such a wimp, isn't he? He's such a wimp. Okay. All right. Now, if I go in, his idea is to go here. I'm really tempted to just keep the ball crap going. But I really don't want to retreat. Retreating would be a sign of weakness, I feel. Now, queen in. Am I... Okay, queen in takes... Oh, I mean, queen in. Takes the knight. Take here. Knight g3. I can't see it. Okay, I'm going to come back because I can't calculate. I'm not sure. I should have just come back here. Okay, there must have been something better there. A little bit disappointing to retreat. And he can now take here as well. But we're just going to castle and hope that we misplace this. I wanted to play this, but I just looked at my clock. And he's playing it super, super duper safe. So we're going to now get a more closed game. And I'm again, very thinking about my clock a lot. And this is why I'm preferring classical chess now. I'm a little bit slower than I used to. And when you have a nice idea, you can get really absorbed in that idea, but I can't do that at blitz chess anymore. Blitz chess is a little bit too quick for me, and classical chess, you should all play longer time limits. You can really fall in to thinking, you know, about magical ideas. Because magical ideas need to be, okay, we're going to take that one, we don't care. Magical ideas need to be calculated, even though I say that, and I also say I don't care. And this seems to get a couple of pawns, and he's trying to run for the hills. No surprise, this guy loves a bit of running for the hills. And we're going to try and... I don't even know if we want to take that one, do we? This is not a particularly great move, I feel. He got knight back, but then I come in. What is he doing over there? Anything that I should be worried about, concerned about? Don't see it. So we'll come forwards and we will slide in. And I just did this because it looked more interesting than the other options. And now we can also threaten that rook. And we got a lot of pawns all of a sudden for what we're trying to do. Okay, so he's come here, attacking the bishop. Let's go there. And if he takes, can we keep attacking with knight b4 rather than getting greedy? Still quite an interesting position, this. So check is there, but can we play this one? And e3 check is what we're really trying to get in, but how are things working out now? I mean, I should have enough material. My opponent is trying to liquidate now, taking pieces off. That's an annoying check he's found there. And actually he's got knight takes now, and the knight's coming in. He could turn this around, but he didn't do that. He wants this check. It's a really strange position. So let's use that pawn he could have taken and keep the craziness of this position going. Shit, I've got no time here at all. And my position is crushing. Now this is one strong plan, it would seem. But we've got to just make sure we don't lose on time. Got to watch that queen. Can't come in anywhere. Whoa, okay, he's got a check, so what? Got another check, so what? My king seems pretty safe. Has he got anything here? He's got nothing I can really see. But maybe no, he hasn't got anything. He clearly hasn't got enough here. He hasn't got any checks. Let's remember this time I can take the queen after that first game I had. And we managed to win that game. Well, I mean, interesting. The sacrifice looked very dangerous. Like I say, you have to back everything up with calculation. But this idea of knight g4 is reasonably familiar for these positions. The computer's going to say I'm a wally. And the point is, after takes, check, he can go g3. So g3, I would have continued here. And now after this one, if I take here, he gets a lot of material. So what I wanted to do was play this and threaten castles with I mean, one of my dreams in life is to castle and give checkmate. But he has one move now, which a human in Blitz would never see. And every other move, I think I get enough counterplay. And there's one move, there's this sneaky little move, which of course is very hard to calculate. The line I was calculating, I couldn't resist this move, was here, here, and now this one. And now I take here with, again, the idea of castling. King here, and now castles, and I'm threatening queen f2. So queen here now, threatening to take this. And I got to this position in my calculation and thought, well, I should have enough compensation. And even though I've only got one pawn and the computer thinks it's really good for white, sometimes I disagree with the computer. And maybe the more we play on, it says it can go bishop f1. I didn't see that one. And there's no obvious way I can continue. But even a little bit of slow pressure here is, I think, still not crazy for me, is it? Because his pieces aren't great. And this bishop is so strong. But okay. The sacrifice was a little bit dodgy, but it had to be done. And let's see if I missed anything after he bottled it a couple of times. This was the position where I pathetically came backwards. And there's nothing obvious here. And actually the best move is to come this way backwards, which I saw afterwards. Keep the knight in the centre. We're still on for 7.5. Let's try to at least finish well in what's been a rather disappointing TT. 2 more to go, and we get our first player, I think, over 2,700, which is nice. Nice to try and finish them some high. I haven't really been paying much attention to my rating, and that's probably because it's been going down since that good Title Tuesday. But I've been trying out new stuff, and I generally play on my phone when I'm watching a film with a hangover, or when I wake up in the middle of the night. So it's not in prime examples when I play. Right, so this is another black line, and I've always thought G4 is a very decent way for white to play against the black line. This is actually when I had this against David Howe, Bournemouth Open 2012. David Howe played G4 against me, and we got this position. And I've always thought this is a sensible idea. I think it's wise for me to stop that pawn coming any further. And against David, I played quite an interesting plan of bringing my knight around. But in my chessball course for on the black line, I suggest this move, which I think is very intriguing. And this is my suggestion to counterattack his play over here. And one of the ideas is to at least dislodge this knight and give it a decision about where it wants to go to. For example, a5 and b4. And I just create a little bit of counterplay on this area of the board. Now, knight g3, I don't know if we can force his queen into the center. And against this, I'm going to just ask his knight whereabouts it wants to go. And if it comes into the middle, which I think is normal, then I will capture it, but it doesn't. So here, it's either this way or going to g6. And g6 and bishop g7 might have been more sensible for the factor that I stop his knight coming in. And I've talked about this kind of pawn structure before, where the free pawns are coming at you, and it's quite bloody scary. We've got to try to keep our calm. Now, is g5 an issue? Let's move out of the way. So I'm a little bit cramped, but we get quite often counter-attacking chances in this position. Now, I think we have to try and build some lines against that. So let's pressurize that. Now I need to retreat. This is I remember from my chessball course, the one thing I talk about is pressurizing this point. So I'm going to do that now. Let's think about the best way of proceeding. And I don't know, I mean, this knight's now very bad, isn't it? So have I done this correctly? Now I could play here and try to kick his knight away, but these are very clustered over here as well. So this is the way we try to get counterplay, by hitting e4 in this variation. And I remember when I looked at this computer, I thought this is the best practical chance that we had. And now he's got to make a decision where his knight goes, because he can't come back here because e4 drops. So what's he going to do? He's probably going to have to do something inventive, and with like g5 here, I would have thought that would be what I would play if I was him. So maybe that's shit if I play. Okay, so he's doing something else inventive, and he's going this way. But I don't know if this was... My dark squares should be okay, shouldn't they? And how do we meet this mini idea? Well, it takes knight here, takes knight here. Let's keep the dark squared bishop. Tense game at the moment. And if pawn takes, what are we doing? Well, my knight is not good. And we're going to try and... Now, if I go here, he pushes, but then I take. So I think I can still play this. Got to watch out for this move, and my bishop's on. And I want to play this, but then his knight jumps, right? If my queen comes in, I'm not sure. So I'm going to save the c3 square for my bishop. Save this square for my bishop. Okay, well, now's as good a time as any, I think. And that knight's not doing anything, so let's again go back to this plan of nibbling on e4 here. I don't know if I'm threatening. Am I taking? No, I'm not threatening. So he's trying to get rid of my bishop. And we'll flow a check in. Now we don't want to draw, so we're going to have to play something which I'm not necessarily sure I want to play. And I really want to put the queen over here now. Now can we play some break like this? Not really. And my knight is now, if anything, in the way. This knight's a real fucker now. It looks like my pieces have got the best squares, but what do I do next here? Okay, let's potentially try this. And time is of the essence. So this is my idea. I just spent a lot of time trying to work out with tactical ideas along here. So we've got to go here. Now we can get the exchange. Where are other options, but this looks best. And here, don't want to allow his knight in, but we want to keep some pressure here. Exchange queens, probably a good idea. Very complex. Now this one's going to lead to chaos. I want here, but this one I'm most worried about, and of course he plays it. Might have to come back and try to hold the fort. Got to be brave. Can we defend this? This is my idea before he gets a chance to move in like Flynn. Oh, bloody hell. Now, surely I can get a counter attack here. Surely. Not anything here. What? Ah. There must be something there, but I couldn't see it. How is the ending? It makes it simple for me, so I'm going to play it. With no time on the clock. We don't have... What am I doing? I'm dropping all my bloody pawns here. This is really bad play from both of us. Oh, the blundering is not stopping today, boys and girls. And I've just thrown it away, as I've thrown away nearly every game I've played today. Oh, I think that just sums up today. That just sums up today. It was going so well and just not with it. So, shit. Oh, just that little bit, and even right at the end there, must have been winning. So let's have a look. And there were parts that were good, but it's just putting together all of those parts. And obviously, I think I'm playing pretty well around this point. Let's not go all the way to the beginning. There's not enough time. One more game to go, and then the suffering's over. 6.5. It's probably, if I win the next one, don't deserve any more than that this week. And yeah, around about here, I think we played pretty well, yeah? Because he has overextended himself. I got my breaks in at the right time. And this seems all good. And of course, I should play this. But I wanted to set up some ideas with d4 here. He complicates matters with this move. And I think my way of playing was pretty okay. It was very complicated, and this rook takes was key, and all of a sudden I think I've got rid of all his threats, because there's one threat of rook g2 I'm getting rid of, so he has to complicate the way he did. And rook c8 was right, but I just couldn't find a finish. I think it was queen e5 first, of course it was. and I just mess up. Rook c2 still winning, so I'm just missing this little bit of extra calculation. So I'm missing a bit of sharpness today. Queen e5 stops him getting the blockade he did, but even then, this must be winning here. And I missed mate in 1. Oh my god! I thought the checks. I started freaking out, and I missed mate in 1. That really does sum things up. This is a painful stream. And I didn't even see this check. I only looked at this check and I didn't think I'd get anywhere. But even that check now looks really good. Why was I not looking at checks? So clearly I'm not shooting on all cylinders today. This was a poor move. And here I missed another mate in 1. The ending not so clear at all. I probably should be the one pushing for a win, but fuck me. I mean, there's some brain fog going on today, isn't there? Oh, I'm going to be having some red wine later today. And I don't know if I'm going to play the later one. I think I might need to sleep, recuperate, rebuild. But we'll try to finish on a high still. Try to get over 50%. But yeah, that was a massive opportunity there to get a nice win with, I think, a reasonably well played game for most part. Fuck. Okay, well, let's start with knight c3, something completely different. And this has some sense to it. We're going to now play d4, and you get back into a Jobava London. So it's a bit of an interesting way to get a Jobava London. And the way I used to recommend playing against this, I'm going to bring out a new Jobava course. It used to be f3 and g4, but if you've got my latest Ginger GM course, only on Ginger GM, you will see that I recommend this idea first, and then g4. And this is a much better way to play because the knight's much more active in the square, and already in this position, black's in a lot of trouble. So if you want to, at least I get one opening, I know, and I should be playing Jobava London more. Go to gingergm.com and buy that course. I need to look at some tactics or some shit today, because the position that we get here is pretty good. I should actually, yeah, this is the right way of playing. When my opponent's light squares are very bad, I've just got to remember the right way of doing this. Do we go here? I don't think we do. I think we play this one, but maybe I always get which one mixed up. Does the bishop go here or does this go here? And I always get this a little bit confused. But as you can clearly see, it's a great position. There's ideas on the light squares. I've completed my development. I can castle. I can open it up. So let's just do that. Let's just castle. And we can even think about sacrificing here. And looks tempting, doesn't it? But I don't need to do that in this position. Bringing a knight around to increase the pressure on these two squares is probably even better. The way I'm playing though today, I'll be happy when it's over today, I'll be honest. But in life, in chess, you've got to take the good and the bad, right? Sometimes it rains poo, and sometimes the angels come out. And I feel today it's a pooey day today. It ain't fun, it's pooey. And even though I've got a great position here, it'd be no surprise if I can throw this away. My idea is I want the knight here, the bishop here. Let's just try to end this one. Could have played this better as well. He's coming back passively. Is there anything clever here? Probably something clever. He's going to take this pawn, isn't he? Let's take here, because if he goes here, he can take that way. So I've even got rid of his weak pawn now. I wanted to take here, but then his knight takes. And he's going to run away. And I'm losing my advantage. Fuck me. Okay. Let's not throw it all away, Simon. Let's keep throwing pieces in at him. Still got a nice attack, but his king has found relative safety. Here. I say relative. His pieces are still all in a mess, and e6 is a lovely square for it to come into. If he goes here, I can take it. G6 drops. So it's still a bit abysmal, his position. He's got to think of a way to stop knight e6, which I don't know he can. In all seriousness, bit too passive, isn't he? But yeah. So this is the way he played it. I mean, I'll have to look at my DVD again and check if it is actually Queen D3 in that position that I played, or if you play bishop, maybe bishop to this square. I can't remember. Honestly, can't remember. That's the one thing you'll find as you get older. The memory goes to shite, which I'm sure a lot of you out there suffer as well. Shite memory syndrome. Now, I'm going to keep it as simple as I can. He might better grab my knight, because I think my knight's a very good piece if it can reach here. But my bishop's also pretty juicy, isn't it, on e5. And I'll just keep it blocked, keep my bishop there, my pawn up. He might better get some blockade, but this I'm a little bit happier with, even though his knight is coming in. Why should I be happier with this? This is nothing to be happy about, is it? Do we flick a check in? I'm sure I should be happy here, but I'm not sure why. Let's go here. Should I be happy here? I don't think I should be happy here. Should I? If he takes this way, he's got... Yeah, okay. He's got to take that way. And yeah. Yeah. His knight's now good. And this is a bit annoying. Now, this one I should definitely flick in. Now, we got the ending, which is a bit sad that we've managed to let him get to the ending. Can we come here and come in this way? Again, it's a bit risky, but we don't mind taking a risk or two. Rook here takes, knight takes. So this is not just risky, probably not very good if he just finds rook here, which is quite an easy move to find. I don't even know how big a threat the check is. And what have I missed? Have I missed this check? I might better get some draw out of it, but even then I don't know if we get a draw because he's got queen takes f7. So this one, king here, rook takes here. And this is another way of playing it because of my back rank. So I've really, yeah, this is just okay. I mean, I could have. I try not to rage quit anymore, but this is why I should rage quit, because the fucking game's like this. And the problem here, check, knight comes in, queen takes, and he spanks me. So this is painful, and I don't think there's any way out of this. Here, knight check, queen takes. They're both as good as each other. So that is the end of a horrible Title Tuesday. Time for wine. And that was no fun today. We're going to have to be better than that, aren't we? If you've lasted this long, well done. Because it wasn't fun to watch. But next time, Simon. Next time.